So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background?
Yeah, so my name is Assia Riccio, and I'm originally Italian. I studied hospitality, and since the age of 21, basically, I've worked in the industry, in operation and also HR and training. And in 2016, I decided to set up a social enterprise called Evolving Women.
And what motivated you to do that?
Well, after several trips to Africa, I just realized that there was a very high rate of unemployment for women. In certain countries, you have 30%, 60%, with South Africa basically leading the board. And I just couldn't stay still, and I wanted to do something to actually help them. And I was inspired by all the wonderful work my parents have done in South America. So I just, took the leap and I did it.
Great. So what is exactly Evolving Women doing? Can you tell us more about it?
So we work with unemployed women in Africa who are either victim of rape, violence, or they come from a very poor background, so they had no access to education. What we do, we train them for 3 months by using technology, and now we're also adding VR to it. And then we bring them to Dubai, where we're based, for 12 months, where they work in hotels. And then at the end of these 12 months, we find them jobs back in their home country, so they can become financially independent and also help other women in the process.
And why exactly hospitality?
Well, that's my background, and also because it's quite easy to start in the industry if you have a very, very small CV. So as long as you have a good attitude, then there are lots of entry-level jobs you can basically take.
So now, what is your opinion about? I mean, why are you doing this in Africa?
Right. So that was more of a strategic decision. So there are 3 reasons why Africa. So first of all, again, the social issue was very clear, with a very high rate of unemployment. Second of all, I was looking for a continent where there were lots of hotels, and big groups like Hilton, Radisson have properties everywhere. Therefore, it was very easy for me to find jobs once they went back. And third of all, because we did a research in Namibia, Kenya, and Ghana. And, I thought one of the easiest things for me was to go to Africa and say to girls, you know what, girls, you're going to come to Dubai, we go party. And actually, they were very scared. So I realized there was a misconception of what women can do and can't do in the Middle East. So I thought that basically by doing what I was doing, I could also change the perception, actually, what Dubai offers to women. And that's what happened. So we came here today because of Dubai government chose us as a sustainable initiative, because we are essentially changing in practice what people think of the Middle East. And I think that's something I was not expecting.
And how does it feel to be a woman entrepreneur in Middle East today?
It's great. I mean, especially talking about Dubai specifically, that's where I'm based. I think Dubai is an enabler for entrepreneurs. It's an inspiring city, so you can get ideas every day. And I just summarized this with what one of our girls told me. She said to me that basically the US used to be the land of opportunities, but actually Dubai now is the land of opportunities.
So what is the future of Evolving Women? Where are you based? I mean, where are you right now in your growth?
Yes.
How many people are in your team? What are the next steps for you?
Yeah, so the first stage of Evolving Women, it was about creating a program that a successful program basically for women, and that's done, that's up and running. We're launching in Kenya, South Africa, Namibia. The next stage is starting now, so we're talking to an architect now in Ghana, starting with Ghana, because we're building a community hub, so women can go back and train other people in rural areas on sustainable tourism initiatives, so they can make money from welcoming tourists. We are developing a farming project outside the hub, so we can do farm tours and show basically people how they cook. And it's completely eco, so we are collecting trash and garbage from the roads in Ghana, so we are using tires, bottles, papers to build the hub itself. So that's the next stage. Yes.
So, what? So you started Evolving Women quite some time ago. What is the advice you could give to the audience here if they have ideas of projects or they want to get involved in this space? What would you, as an entrepreneur, would want to tell them?
I mean, I can talk from my personal experience. When I started in the social space, I thought I had to have this incredible idea. I had to have this, innovative technology to actually change the world. But what I realized that actually you can take a very simple business model. In our case, we chose a recruitment model and a training model, and we just replaced people looking for jobs and training with women from developing countries. So sometimes you need to look at a very successful business model and just make that a social. Because some people think, I need to come up with this massive technology to change the world, and sometimes you can start from very small things.
So what's your business model?
Yeah, so we have two revenue streams. So one comes from training. We work with government and foundations, so they provide us grants for the training. And then we have a recruitment model in Dubai. So we work as a recruitment agency, and hotel pays us basically to recruit our girls because they can embed social responsibility in their HR practices. And also, I think in terms of advice, I think when you work in the social space, people are very skeptical sometimes, and they wonder, is this genuine? Are you in human trafficking? You're getting these girls to Dubai. What's happening? And you need to be able to expect lots of no's before you get your first yes. So it became a joke between my husband and I. So I got 323 no's before I got my first yes.
Wow.
So
you kept going.
I kept going, yeah. So it really became a joke. So every time I was going back from a meeting, my husband would open the door and was like, is another no? Yeah. So I got 323 no's.
That's pretty inspiring. I don't know if I could have made that. Are you alone in this? Did you found this company with partners?
Yes.
How did you?
We now partner with Accenture. So we use all the technology to actually reach women in rural areas. So we use all their online platform, and we are currently talking to Microsoft as well for the VR side. And we have an MOU signed with the Ministry of Tourism in Ghana, which is giving us presence in Africa. And we have contracts signed with the Hilton Group, Radisson Group as well, and the two properties from the Accenture Group. So
Would you trade your career back? Would you trade what you have today to go back to your career?
No. Actually, I started Evolving Women. I registered Evolving Women in December 2016. And in May 2017, we launched the first initiative. So we've been in the market for just over 1 year now. But when I set up Evolving Women, basically I was made redundant. And I went back home and I said, okay, I have two options. I either get really, really drunk, or I just get a business model out that I built a few years ago and just finish it up. And within 2 weeks, I had a business model ready with the theory of change. So no, I can't go back. I can't go back because I committed to my girls, so I can't go back.
Talking about your girls, how do you choose? How do you select them?
So we work with the UN. We don't work with the UN, but we work with foundations that are referred to us by the UN. So within 8 months from starting, we became one of the first micro-enterprises with less than 10 employees in the Middle East to become part of the UN Global Compact, and we now sit on the UN Women Task Force in the Middle East. So we work with their foundations and government schemes in Africa.
Any question from the audience for Assia? Yeah.
Hello. I would like to know what were the main difficulties you faced, because you said you had a lot of no's, and I don't know, just the main difficulties to grow this project.
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenge was to, when I was approached by people who wanted to partner with us, there was a disconnect between the way they wanted to measure the social impact and the way we were measuring the social impact. So as an example, if a big company approached me and said, wonderful, can you use our technology to train 1,000 women this year because that's our target, then that was not aligned to what my target was. So if I train 100 women and I only have 60 jobs in Dubai, then I'm creating another social issue. Now I have 40 women trained but still unemployed. So it was about finding the right partner who really understood the way we measured our social impact. That was the biggest challenge for me in terms of partnerships as well.
Any other question? You have one? Yeah. So Eyal is actually our next speaker, so go ahead.
Just a quick question. You could have had a much easier path. So what made you struggle through it and kind of be over all the obstacles?
I was raised in a family of people who really believed in community work. So my mom started working with a foundation when I was 8. She was raising money for this foundation because they were working on reducing the literacy rate of children in South America. So she started raising money for them, and one night she came home and she was really upset because all the children she was sponsoring were actually leaving Brazil to go to the US because they had no jobs. So she went back to the foundation and said, guys, you're doing something really wrong because the children we are training, they should stay in Brazil and inspire other children and adults on the importance of education. And the foundation said, I'm really sorry, we are not going to work on this. We can't do anything. So Mom came home and said, well, I cannot accept that. So she started contacting all the local farmers where the children were from, and she was asking each farmer to recruit the children she was actually paying school fees for. And that's how some of them are still now in Brazil and raising the children. So with that model in mind and with what my mom did on a not-for-profit basis, I almost felt I felt obliged to actually keep that legacy on and make it sustainable because she could have done that for hundreds and thousands of people, but it was not a sustainable model. So the drive came from making something that my mom started, actually something sustainable and reach as many women as possible. So that's what kept me going.
Thank you, Assia. Well, I want to thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much for being here, for listening. Thank you.
Assia Riccio.